How are you?
I'm fine and great, and you?
Good, I'm good. I'm very warm. Um, I
Mm,
just
nice.
I just went to Starbucks and I had to run back to start class on time. So I'm very
All
warm.
right. I like the Starbucks. What did you What did you get there?
I got a grande red eye, which is coffee with a shot of espresso.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, I have to add a lot of sugar and milk, but it's good. And Edson, hello.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. Glad to be here.
Thanks.
Good, and welcome to class.
Thank you.
Great. And Raphael, hello.
Hello, Stephanie.
And how are you today?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. What about you?
I'm good, thank you. Great. And one more, Anar, hello. Anar? Anar?
Hello,
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Is it Anar or Anar?
Anarchism. This
Anar.
is the one part.
Okay.
I'm from China, North China.
Oh, cool. From North China. Great. Well, it's nice to meet you. Welcome to class. Um, all right. So a few more people should be joining us. There's one, in fact. Carlos, hello.
Hello, teacher.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you. You?
I'm fine, thank you. And where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
From Mexico. Wonderful. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
All right. This class is called Poetry for Pronunciation. So this is a class I did a long time ago, and then I haven't done it really since then. So I thought I'd bring it back. The idea is that we will read some poetry. I will read first, and you will listen for pronunciation. Then you'll take turns reading the poetry yourselves. I'll correct pronunciation as needed, and we'll also talk about what the poems mean. I really like poetry, and when I was learning Spanish, I memorized some poems that I could recite to practice my pronunciation. So that's the idea. And I'm going to go right to, actually no I'm not, I need to pull up the right screen. We'll be using poems from the poetryfoundation.org. I'll put a link in the chat for you. And I thought for this class, for each class that I do, we'll look at a different type of poetry. So today, the type we'll be looking at, and I'm going to go to the screen, is called a ballad. All right, so all of our poems today are types of ballads. And a ballad is a poem that was originally like a narrative song. So some of them can be very, very old, and some are new. In the English tradition, it usually follows a form of rhymed quatrains, alternating 4-stress and 3-stress lines. What that means is that we will see rhyming, each line having a different final sound, with the second and the fourth line rhyming, and lines grouped in 4. Basically, they will look like this. We're not going to start with this one, though. This is a long one. So all of our poems today are ballads. They all have a very specific rhythm and rhyme pattern. So that's what we'll be listening for in our pronunciation. Let me say hello to Kako. Hello.
Hello, teacher. Nice to
How are
see you. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. Welcome to class.
Thank you, teacher.
Great, great. All right. So we're looking at ballads today, and I thought we'd start with a short one by a very famous American author, Ernest Hemingway. So this first poem is short enough that everyone will read it after me. So I'm going to read it first, then each of you will read it once, and then we'll talk about what it means. Actually, no, we'll change the order. I will read it, we'll talk about the meaning, and then you'll read it. So here we go. This is French, and I really don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm going to say Champs d'honneur by Ernest M. Hemingway. Soldiers never do die well, crosses mark the places, wooden crosses where they fell, stuck above their faces. Soldiers pitch and cough and twitch, all the world roars red and black. Soldiers smother in a ditch, choking through the whole attack. Okay. All right, so I've read it once. Let's do vocabulary. Any vocabulary questions?
Smother.
Ooh, good. Yes, smother is to cut off the air from something. And this will be a good image, I think. So if you deprive something of air, you smother it. Here's a woman smothering someone with a pillow. So that's smother. You might smother someone with a pillow or rag. You might smother a fire with a top or a cover. Great. Other questions? All right. You will have the chance to read it. Would you like me to read it one more time so you can hear the rhythm again? Or are you ready? Okay, I'm going to read it one more time. So listen for the rhythm, what words are stressed or not stressed, and also the intonation. You should hear it fall at the end of each quatrain. Here we go. Champs d'honneur by Ernest M. Hemingway. Soldiers never do die well, crosses mark the places, wooden crosses where they fell, stuck above their faces. Soldiers pitch and cough and twitch, all the world roars red and black. Soldiers smother in a ditch, choking through the whole attack. All right. Your turn. Do I have a volunteer to go first?
Yes, may I?
Great, go ahead, Edson.
Champs d'honneur by Ernest M. Hemingway. Soldiers never do die well. Crosses mark the places. Wooden crosses where they fell, stuck above their faces. Soldiers pitch and cough and twitch. All the road roars red and black. Soldiers smother in a ditch, cooking through the whole attack.
All right, nice. Choking through the whole.
Choking.
Good. All right, nice rhythm. To get the rhythm right, you really have to cut those short words, and you did that. So very nice. And thank you for going first. Good. Let's move to the left. Carlos, your turn.
Okay. Champ d'honneur. Soldiers never do die well. Crosses mark the places. Wooden crosses where they fell, stuck about their faces. Soldiers pitch and cough and twitch. All the world roars red and black. Soldiers smother in a ditch, choking through the whole attack.
All right, good. Great pace there. And again, good rhythm. So cutting those function words and really stressing the content words. Nice. Also, your French sounded good to me. I
Yes,
don't know any.
I'm
You're
learning
learning.
French.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. Very nice. It sounds way better than my French. Nice. Great job. All right, so Kako, your turn.
Champ d'honneur by Ernest M. Hemingway. Soldiers never do die well. Crosses mark the places. Wooden crosses where they fell, stuck above their faces. Soldiers pitch and cough and twitch. All the world rolls red and black. Soldiers smother in a ditch, choking through the whole attack.
All right, great, excellent. And Kako, it sounds like you know a little bit of French as well.
Yes, teacher. Um, a long time ago studied a little French.
Nice. Well, very nice. It sounded good to me.
Thank you,
All
teacher.
right, great. Thank you. Nice reading. I love poetry, so it's very pleasurable for me to hear this. All right, Anar, your turn.
Champs d'honneur. Soldiers never do die well. Crosses, marks, and places. Wooden crosses where they fell. Stuck above their faces. Soldiers pitch and cough and twitch. All the world rolls red and black. Soldiers smother in a ditch, choking through the whole attack.
All right, great, nice. Good intonation at the very end there, really falling voice at the end. Nice. All right, so thank you, Anar. Sounded good. And last but not least, Anna Carolina. Let's hear.
Okay. Chandonner by Ernest M. Hemingway. Soldiers never do die well. Crosses mark the places. Wooden crosses where they fell, stuck above their faces. Soldiers pitch and cough and twitch. All the words rose red and black. Soldiers smother in a dish, shocking through the whole attack.
Nice, nice. An excellent tone for this rather dark poem. Do you know some French too?
I used to have some classes when
Cool.
yes,
Cool.
Chandonner.
It's always I know I know Spanish, so that helps me with some of the Romance languages, like Italian or a little bit of Portuguese, but French is just so different for me. All right, everyone. Very nice. Thank you. So I started with this one just because of its length. I wouldn't normally start with such a dark poem, but would someone like to give us their interpretation of this poem before we go on?
May I take a shot?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, my gosh. Why did I volunteer? Okay. Well, basically, it's saying that they have a tragic death, always, all soldiers, and they die in battle, and they they fail because they are shot in and that's it basically it's talking about the war and the way they die.
Great. Yeah. Yeah.
They suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. The point is that it's not a pleasant death, right? Good. Does
Yeah.
anyone want to add on to that? I think that's a great interpretation. Does anyone want to add on to that? Great. Yeah, so I guess my last comment is just, yeah, interesting contrast between the title and the subject, right? That these champions of honor don't have honorable deaths. All right, so that was our first ballad, and you all got a good feel for the rhythm, right? There's actually a pattern. In this one, we have 5 syllables, 5 stressed syllables, 4 stressed syllables, 5 stressed syllables, 4 stressed syllables. So we're going to see that same pattern throughout the poem. Let's go to the next one. A little bit longer, but very different in topic. So we have 3 stanzas with this one. We'll do it kind of the same way. I will start. I'll read it once through. We'll go over vocabulary. And then I'll have you all share the reading. And we'll probably I'll assign you verses. All right, so you won't each read the poem, but you'll share the poem, reading 1 verse each. All right, so this is a poem that's brand new to me. It's called See It Through by Edgar Albert Guest. You'll notice that these are not quatrains. Quatrains are 4, but they're kind of pairs of quatrains. Here we go. See It Through by Edgar Albert Guest. When you're up against a trouble, meet it squarely, face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders, plant your feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim. But don't let your nerve desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. If the worst is bound to happen, spite of all that you can do, running from it will not save you. See it through. Even hope may seem but futile, when with troubles you're beset. But remember you are facing just what other men have met. You may fail, but fall still fighting. Don't give up, whatever you do. Eyes front, head high to the finish. See it through. All right, so let's take questions. Questions on vocabulary or meaning.
To dodge something means to use violence against something.
Good question. To dodge is to avoid.
Thank you.
Yes.
Because the adjective dodgy.
What line is it? Because
No,
it might.
it's
Oh,
not
here.
there. Because I've heard dodgy,
Yes, dodgy, and that would usually mean um, like
violent.
not, yeah, violent or not good, um, suspicious maybe. Good. Great. Other questions?
And in this case, what's the meaning? Sorry.
Oh, great question. So when it's vain to try to dodge it, so dodge it means dodge trouble, so avoiding the trouble. Vain in this case would mean pointless,
Okay.
or yeah, so no point. So when it's pointless to try to avoid trouble, do the best that you can do. Excellent. Other questions?
Squarely.
Ooh, yeah, squarely, good. Squarely means head on or directly. I'm not sure where that term and phrase comes from, but if you meet something squarely, you meet it directly.
Okay.
Great question. Other questions? All right, a couple things you may have noticed. Here, spite, this is like in spite of all that you can do. The in is just missing for poetic effect, just to have the correct number of syllables. You may also have noticed this is common in poetry, to eliminate a consonant in the word ever, to make it a little bit shorter to fit the rhythm pattern. And you also may have noticed that this ballad strays from traditional form by the last line of every stanza has only 3 syllables. It doesn't match the one that it should. All right, so any other questions on vocabulary or pronunciation before you read it?
Trim.
Sorry, say that again?
Trim. Keep yourself in fighting trim.
Yes, this is a strange way, a poetic way to say it, in fighting shape, or in good condition.
Okay.
Yeah. Trim sometimes can mean thin or in good physical condition. So that's the sense in that. Great question. All right, any others? All right, we can always take questions after we read it again. So I think, let's see, we have 3 stanzas, right? 3 stanzas. So why don't we have, we'll read it 2 times. Each of you will read a stanza, and I'll read the last one, just so we're even. So we're going to start with Edson, Carlos, and Kako. Edson, you'll read the first. Carlos, you'll read the second. And Kako, you'll read the third. Ready? All right, so Edson, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Everything.
Just the first stanza here.
When you okay.
Yep, right.
When you are up against a trouble, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders. Plant your feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try to judge it, Do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through.
Great, great, excellent. Thank you. And for that last line, we have to kind of skip a beat at the start. Right? These lines, we have 4 beats. Do the best that you can do. Here we only have 3, so we kind of skip a beat at the start and then see it through. All right, very nice, Edson. Carlos, stanza 2.
Okay. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim, but then don't let your never desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. If the worst is bound to happen, spite of all that you can do, running from it will not save you. See it through.
Very nice. Great, nice. Good work on that last line of only 3 syllables. All right, Kako, finish the poem for us, stanza 3.
Even hope may seem but futile when with troubles you're beset. But remember, you are facing just what other men have met. You may fail, but fall is still fighting. Don't give up, whatever you do. Eyes front, head high to the finish. See it through.
All right, nice. Again, good work on that last line with just 3 syllables, 3 beats. All right. Once all the way through, nice work, gentlemen. Good rhythm. Let's read it one more time so Anna and Anna can have a chance. So I'm actually going to read the first stanza just because it's another chance to hear the rhythm. And notice where the stress comes, and listen for how strongly they are stressed. Here I go. When you're up against a trouble, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders, plant your feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. All right, on our second stanza, please.
Black may be the clouds about about you, and your future may see green. But don't let your nerve desert you. Keep yourself in fighting green. If the worst is bound to happen, spite of all that you can do, running from it will not save you. See you through.
All right, thank you very much, Anar. And when you are reading poetry, don't hold back. You want to go really high pitched on the stressed words. Like so, my voice will be black may be the clouds about you. And that goes for everyone. Really, in American English, we go really, really high, higher than you feel. It should feel strange to you, and it will sound good to me. All right, thank you, Anna. And Anna Carolina, our last stanza, please.
Ah, my gosh. This one is the most difficult. Okay. Even hope may seem but futile when with troubles you are beset. But remember, you are facing just what other men have met. You may fail, but fall is still fighting. Don't give up, whatever you do. Eyes front, head high to the finish. See it through.
Nice, nice. It was a difficult stanza, but you did great work with it. This word is uncommon, but it does get the use as its name, so futile. Futile. All right, nice work.
Futile. Stephanie,
Yeah.
beset means upset.
Ah, good question. Beset. This is a very old English word. To be beset with something is to have something, and it's usually have a problem. So if you're beset with troubles, it means troubles are upon you or you have troubles around you.
Okay, and there is a contraction in whatever. So
Yes.
yes, in that case, how should we pronounce it?
Yep. So normally whatever would have 3 syllables. Um, when you see it written like this in poetry, you want to try to do it in 2 syllables. So whate'er, whate'er, whate'er,
Let me
whate'er
try.
you do.
Whatever you do. You
Yeah,
say?
good. Yeah, try it in the whole line.
Don't give up. Whatever you do.
Very nice, very nice. And that, again, they do that for the rhythm, right? In this poem, we have, let's see, let's see, just what other men have met. I think we have 5 syllables. Just what other men have met. 5 syllables. So here, don't give up, whate'er you do. So it's shortened just to fit the rhythm. Great questions. Anyone else? Any last questions on this poem? All right. And this one, the meaning is pretty straightforward, right? Would anyone like to summarize the meaning of this poem for us?
May I
Sure,
give
go
you
ahead.
a try?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, it's about overcoming difficult situations when everything seems to be awful. You have to move forward. You have to keep going, move forward, and
Great. Yep.
never ever give up.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, so I wanted to do something a little more uplifting after the last poem. Uh, great. Any other comments on this poem?
I think when you're sad, this kind of poem would bring you calm and and tran no
Tranquility?
quiet.
Yeah.
Ah, yes,
Yeah. You
tranquility,
can
tranquility,
tranquility. Tranquility. Good.
tranquility. Okay.
Nice, nice, very nice. Um, yeah, great point. This is one of those poems that can kind of lift you up when you're um, needing a boost. All right, great. Thank you, everyone, for your nice reading. I think we'll go on to the next poem. All right, so let's close that out. The next one I chose, it's a long one, but I chose for 2 reasons. It's a very traditional ballad, so the form fits the ballad, but it's also an American folklore. So you get a little extra learning, a little cultural lesson, um, as well as pronunciation and poetry. Um, so this next poem is called The Birth of John Henry. John Henry is an African-American folk hero and tall tale. Okay, so that means he was never real, but he's said to have worked as a steel driving man. So his job was to hammer a steel drill into rock to make holes for explosives, to blast the rock. He's usually pictured with a big hammer. That's his like symbol. And let's see, this this story is told in a classic folk song, so that's why it's a ballad form. And it's just kind of a cool folk tale from the American South, about a man who had a huge hammer. He may have actually existed, and his person actually became a legend, but that's kind of the background for this poem. All right, so let's give it a read. The Birth of John Henry by Melvin B. Tolson. And as I read, I want you all to listen for really how high my voice goes, and how low it goes on the words that aren't stressed. All right. The night John Henry is born, an axe of lightning splits the sky, and a hammer of thunder pounds the earth, and the eagles and panthers cry. John Henry, he says to his ma and pa, get a gallon of barley corn. I want to start right like a he-man child, the night that I am born. Says, I want some ham hocks, ribs and jowls, a pot of cabbage and greens, some hoe cakes, jam and buttermilk, a platter of pork and beans. John Henry's ma, she wrings her hands, and his pa, he scratches his head. John Henry, he curses in giraffe-tall words, flops over and kicks down the bed. He's burning mad like a bear on fire, so he tears to the riverside. As he stoops to drink, Old Man River gets scared and runs upstream to hide. Some say he was born in Georgia, oh Lord. Some say in Alabama. But it's writ on the rock at the Big Bend Tunnel, Louisiana was my home, so scram. All right, so stopping there. There's a lot of cultural stuff in this, so questions?
What is X?
Oh, great. An axe is the tool we use to chop down trees. So there you are. Good. Other questions?
Splits. It's like the lights are everywhere.
No, to split, this is a verb. That means to tear or cut in half.
Okay.
Here's the gymnastic move with the same name. But yeah, I don't know if we can get there. This man is splitting a paper. You might split wood. Good. Other questions? Let's address the food a little bit. This is all very southern food, or food that is typical of the United States South. So we've got barley corn, which is a grain that we use to make beer. What else? Any questions on what some of this food is, I guess I'll ask. I want to see exactly what ham hocks are. I know they're pork and they're like from the back of a pig. I just want to see what piece they are exactly. There's our ham hocks and rice. See, I guess I'll explain. This is a common name for a river. So you can call any river Old Man River. Usually it's a big river, like the Mississippi. In fact, I wonder if it is just for the Mississippi. Let's check. Also an old showboat show. I think it might be about the Mississippi specifically. All right, anyway, any other questions on this poem? All right. So,
I have one.
yes.
Like a beer on fire.
Let's see, where is it? Ah, yes, like a bear on fire. So this would be the animal burning. So a burning bear. I wonder if we can get an image for that. I hope not, but yeah, here we go. There's a bear on fire. Not in a good way. All right. Great. So why don't we read this? And everyone, when you read it, I want you to really exaggerate those stressed words, okay? Even more than you think you should. So let's see, there's 6 stanzas, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are 6 of us. I'll do the first stanza so you can hear one more time how the rhythm goes. And then we'll start, let's see, the second stanza, we'll start with Anna Carolina this time. And we'll move to the right. So Anna Carolina will read the second stanza, then Anar, then Kako, then Carlos, and Edson will read the last. All right, here we go. Zoom in a little bit. The Birth of John Henry by Melvin B. Tolson. The night John Henry is born, an axe of lightning splits the sky, and a hammer of thunder pounds the earth, and the eagles and panthers cry.
John Wayne, oh my gosh, John Henry, he says to his ma and pa, "Get a gallon of barley corn. I want to start to write like a Indian child the night I am born."
Nice. Anar?
He dropped it.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't on the screen. Okay, Kako.
Says, I want some ham hocks, ribs and jaws, a pot of cabbage and greens, some whole cakes, jams and buttermilk, a platter of pork and beans.
Very nice. Carlos.
John Henry's ma, she wrings her hands, and his pa, he scratches his head. John Henry, he curses in giraffe, told worse, flops over and kicks down the bed. I think I read it bad.
No, you did nice. This to me was the hardest line in the poem. So nice, you did nice on it. And Edson, our last stanza.
He's burning mad like a beer on fire, so he tears to the riverside. As he stoops to drink, Old Man River gets scared and runs upstream to hide.
Good, excellent. And that was not the last stanza. Let's have Anna Carolina, will you finish it for us?
Okay, some say he was born in Georgia, oh Lord, some say in Alabama, but it is written on the rock at the Big Bend Tunnel. Louisiana was my home, so scrum.
Nice, nice, very nice. All right. Good work, everyone. One thing you can do at home, one pronunciation activity, if you're interested, is to take a poem like this, read it once through and time yourself, and then try to beat your time. So what that does is really helps you cut down on those function words, right? Those words that we barely pronounce. Timing yourself can help you pronounce them faster and sound more native-like. So for example, this line that I think is difficult, I would practice that until it's a little bit faster. John Henry, he curses in giraffe-tall words. So that's one pronunciation activity for you all.
Stephanie,
Yes.
what does stoops mean?
Oh, good. This is a great verb that means to bend down. Yeah, to bend down or to. Yeah, I'd say this is a good for this poem. This is stooping down. So bending down, but not on your knees or sitting. Good question. Other questions on this poem? All right, and last, who would like to summarize this poem in their own words? What is this poem about?
May I try?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think he was a slave. I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and and he was a very scary man.
Good, yeah.
He was born an ex. It means that he was born as a slave, but on the other hand, he was very powerful somehow because people would fear him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's well said. It's kind of illustrating this powerful man as he was as a baby. And it's very exaggerated, right? Great. Other comments? All right. Anything else on this poem?
I think, teacher, he was a myth. He was a mythical birth. He was born. When he was born, the nature manifested with lightning in the sky, thunders. The panthers cried. Then, when he grew up. He get food to go to work. Or, he get a lot of food to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
In the using hammer to hammer and tools to hold the hawk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And he's actually still a baby throughout that. So definitely a mythical man. And I can't remember in the myth if he is a slave or not. If he's not, it's shortly after that time period. But great. Yeah.
I thought he was a slave because he was born as an ex, and then I thought that.
I think it might be. I don't remember exactly when this folklore is said to have started, but it probably was around that time period. So it's quite possible, certainly. All right, everyone. Any other comments on that one? All right, I do have one more, although it's a long one and it's an old one, but we're just going to give it a read through anyway. At least we'll work on the pronunciation, and you'll see some old vocabulary. So here we go. Our last poem here is "And If I Did, What Then?" by George Gascoigne. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, Gascoigne. I just want to point out this poet lived from the year 1535 to the year 1578. So this is not modern English. This is Middle English still. So some pretty old words you're going to see. All right, here we go. "And If I Did, What Then?" by George Gascoigne. And if I did, what then? Are you aggrieved therefore? The sea hath fish for every man, and what would you have more? Thus did my mistress once amaze my mind with doubt, and popped a question for the nonce, to beat my brains about. Whereto I thus replied, each fisherman can wish that all the seas at every tide were his alone to fish. And so did I in vain, but since it may not be, let such fish thereas find the gain, and leave the loss for me. And with such luck and loss I will content myself, till tides of turning time may toss such fishers on the shelf. And when they stick on sands that every man may see, then will I laugh and clap my hands, as they do now at me. Okay, so very old-fashioned, you may have noticed right away. Questions on the vocabulary?
Does it change the meaning when you put together like where to? I thus replied like where to?
No, this is just old-fashioned.
Okay.
So this would mean the same as, like, you wouldn't say this. Normal speech, we would say, let's see, she posed a question to me, to which I thus replied. We would probably say to which in modern English. Good, great question. Other questions? Oh boy, looking at time, I'm sorry, we don't have much time for questions. Hath just means has, and this is an old-fashioned conjugation, third person singular. The sea has fish for every man. I do not know what nonce means. We would have to look that up. I'm going to look it up, even if we don't have time. It means of a word or expression, coined or used on one occasion. So she asked a question once. All right, so I don't think there's too much irregular vocabulary aside from those. Let's do a quick reading together and we'll call it a day. Let's start with Carlos. Carlos, how would you like to read the first part for us?
Okay.
Okay.
And if I did, what then? And if I did, what then? Are you aggrieved, therefore? The sea had fish for every man, and what would you have more?
Nice intonation on that question. All right, moving left, Kako, second stanza.
Thus did my mistress once amaze my mind with doubt, and popped a question for the nonce that beat my brains about.
Excellent. Nice rhythm. Anna Carolina.
Whereto I thus replied, each fisherman can wish that all the seas at every tide were his alone to fish.
Nice. And Edson.
And so did I in vain. But since it may not be, let such fish there as find again, and leave the loss for me.
And Carlos, one more stanza.
And with such luck and loss, I will content myself, till tides of turning time may toss such fishers on the shelf.
Great, great. And last, Kako, our final stanza.
And when they stick on sands that every man may see, then will I laugh and clap my hands as they do now at me.
Nice, nice, and good intonation on that ending. All right. I did really want to talk about what this poem means because I don't really know. I have some ideas. But unfortunately, we're out of time, and I have to start another class right away. So we're going to say goodbye. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this class, I will be doing one very soon, either by Wednesday or on Wednesday. So I hope to see you all back soon, and have a great evening.
Goodbye.
Okay, teacher,
Enjoy
thank
your
you.
week.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye. See you later.